right, test. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat. Make sure the audio is going before I start talking for 15 minutes, realizing I can't hear you guys. I'm going to turn the music back up. Start it off with, how do I know? How's it going? Test. 1, 2. Music's a little loud. Yep. Cool. Yeah, we're streaming on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. But we'll get this going. It's been 2 weeks since we've had a stream. My apologies. Family vacation's in the way, and we almost didn't get to do this one. Or at least was going to have to push it to the weekend. But my dad's had some surgeries this week and got out, and he's getting released today, so we're all good for the meantime. But moving on. It looks like audio is way too loud. Let me, hold on. I gotta adjust it on OBS. I had a lot of OBS issues earlier today, but I got everything set. So anyway, if you guys are new, this is weekly Whale Watch. We do this every Thursday from 8 p.m. Central Standard Time until about 9 o'clock. And then we go hit up the Rainbow Trends Discord with all the OGs. If you're curious why my charts look like the way that they do, we trade in color. Oh, shoot, we got Aslan in. We trade in color. We trade in black and white, and all my stuff's here. You can find our OGs. You can go study the other Rainbow Trends traders. They're on here too. Or go hang out with us in the Discord. That's where it's really at. And the Discord link's at the top. Find us on Google, whatever. If you're curious and shy, shoot me a DM. I answer all my DMs unless you're asking to promote my account on Twitter, because that's all my random DMs are right now. But fixing the bots, I'm sure. Anyway, the stream is intended to use for educational purposes only. This is actually an art stream. It's not financial advice, but if you were to mistake it for financial advice, it's definitely bad financial advice. So, moving on. If you guys didn't know, I've been building a Wikipedia page or GitHub, whatever you call it, through getbook.io. Not sponsored by them. I don't know anybody there. But it was one of the coolest interfaces where I could just build what I needed to do additional like tutorials and stuff. So it's a work in progress. I'll drop the link in the chat, but you guys can go check it out. And if you're on Twitter, the chats don't really work, but I'll hop over to YouTube if you want to see the chats. But anyway, long story short, I can see your tweets or your Twitter chats, but I can't reply back to them. But yeah, individual write-ups of every single thing. We've evolved over the years to so much stuff. This breaks down every single question you could think of. And I'm slowly working through all the different tools. We're doing new videos, so you can watch a video at the top of each one. Split volume tool, fully written out. Now I'm working on the custom clouds tool. Probably reversion bands next, and some other stuff. Quick start, we're going to have like our links and stuff. FAQs, OGs, the Rainbow Trends pups, the pound shelter stuff we do, Kraken affiliate stuff, and then like overall like what's Rainbow Theory and all that. So check it out, because it seems to be the gap I had for a long time. So shout out Dime for pushing me for pretty hard there to get some actual documentation going. But anyway, moving on a serious note, hashtag free ledger. The FBI has arrested the Alabama man for hacking the SEC's account in January that posted the fake ETF approval. Which is interesting because it's been a bit. It's been a while since this happened, and it shook the world. And we found out that the SEC did not have two-factor authentication enabled on the Twitter account, which was crazy. So I personally thought they could just subpoena Twitter and get the IP login address of whoever the hell did this, but apparently not. And apparently this individual who pulled this off did some SIM swaps, did some crazy stuff to pull it off. But idiotically enough, he started Googling, how can I know for sure if I'm being investigated by the FBI? So when in doubt, don't Google search that. Maybe may tip them off. It's just one of the most amazing things. So yeah, it's fantastic they caught him. I can't believe how long this took, and I can't believe the guy was dumb enough to actually post that. So moving on, I have got some answers. I've got some questions. We are going to get into some alpha today that has nothing to do with crypto, but has everything to do with living life. And I do a lot of research, and I'm pretty deep into kind of a niche thing. I do a lot of off-road camping and fishing on beaches, which is a bit of a niche sport, particularly surf fishing and focusing on land-based shark fishing with kayaks. So if you've been curious why I've been quiet for the past 2 weeks, been getting over my dad's cancer surgery and then also preparing and getting my butt kicked by this trip that we recently did. When I say butt kicked, we did, like, my hands and shoulders are still destroyed from all the kayaking we did running baits. But I wanted to take this time to do some feedback because over the years I've had a lot of lessons learned. I've done a ton of research. I've broken a lot of stuff. I've modified a lot of stuff. And I wanted to pass that along because you guys have been curious and messaging me, stuff like that. Fishing was a little slow. I caught a holy grail fish that I'm not going to post. It was an accident, albeit I did it twice. But we did get a decent shark. Fishing was super, super slow, but I did get a black tip and got to tag that with my kids, so that was pretty cool. And since we're kind of speaking of kayaking and shark fishing and stuff like that, if you guys happen to find a Motorola MS350R floating or laying on the beach, you let me know. It was on channel 6.4. This has been my go-to kayak beat the living hell out of radio for years. And while they are waterproof, over this weekend I found out they do not float. The quick release button got hit by my elbow, and it sank to the bottom like a rock after I just put brand new rechargeable high-end batteries in it. So if you guys see one of these, just you let me know. But one of the coolest things, we did probably I think we probably did 800 miles for this trip, with like over 100 miles of that, probably about 100 miles of it on off-road on the beach. And I wanted to share some stuff for you guys because a lot of people, like social media and all this stuff, they post all this off-road stuff that's crazy expensive. And I want to get into kind of like the how to do this stuff right, how to do it cheap. And then we can get into some charts and crypto because definitely I didn't have internet. I didn't have phone. I wasn't checking charts for a while, even though Zcash did pop while I was driving. I'll talk about that chart later. But one of the coolest things ever, we weren't there. We weren't planning on it, but I befriended some local surfers at the location we were at, and they said, "Hey, are you guys watching the launch tomorrow morning?" And we would go, "What launch?" They said, "SpaceX is doing that launch tomorrow. They're gonna try to catch the booster, something that's never been done before." And if you guys don't know, I've mentioned it throughout the years, my family and my wife are crazy obsessed with NASA and rocket launches, space, all that types of stuff. I'm pretty sure my offspring, the oldest one, is probably going to be an electrical engineer, not a mechanical engineer. And she's obsessed with all this stuff. And we weren't close, but we actually got to see this thing launch. And actually managed to like see this from far away, and it was one of the coolest things ever. Even though we were far away, it was downright just nuts and like disturbing. So I wanted to show the video real quick because it was sick.
4, 3, 2,
and
1.
SpaceX did this with 3/4 of the staff DocuSign has, which is just absurd. This is the biggest and fastest man-made flying object that's ever existed.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
So I got to see this, and thank God we befriended those surfers when we did, because we would have missed it. And it probably would have scared us, because it is eerie sounding on the beach. Very eerie. But yeah, this thing was awesome. And you can see this thing from very, very far.
30 seconds into the flight, the rumble's just starting to reach us here.
So let me see, scoot forward. I wanted to talk about the re-entry. So you can see this like from land, and it looks like steam and all this other stuff. I don't know if this shows the catch. Yeah. So that was cool. That was amazing. But this part where they caught it was downright, like, the only word I can describe it is disturbing. I've never seen anything fall through the sky this fast. The other one you can see like slowly gaining speed. This thing comes shagging through the skyline like you would not believe. Like, you can see this giant thing just flying down to Earth like a freaking meteorite. And it was cool. And we even got to hear it land. Like, it was minutes and minutes of delay, but we got to hear this thing rumbling through the sand of the beaches. So it was freaking cool. Yeah, watch this thing. This is so sick. Yeah. And we got to watch it stream live. I figured out the last day there, or one of the last days we were there on the beach, how to get internet. We ran a phone up to the top of the beach dune, set it up on a chair, and then put it on, restarted it. And once it restarted it, it got internet connection. And then we did hotspot Wi-Fi, and then we were able to watch from the beach with a tablet and see these guys like do a countdown. So the kids had the best trip ever, and they got to catch this thing, which is just sick. So I highly recommend to go do this. Even if you can't go catch a launch, go drive down there. You can drive within 100 yards of these towers and these rockets, and it's really cool to see. I don't know how long they're going to keep doing that, because like I saw Elon there one time, like out in the open without bodyguards. It was kind of crazy. So go check it out. It's pretty cool. You can get closer to the rockets than you can ever imagine. But back to the camping, back to the alpha. You guys want to talk about like camping on a beach, and it's amazing, and you envision this, but it can quickly go wrong for a lot of reasons. Frankly, you won't catch me in a tent again. I've been through too many storms. I'm at the point in my life where I prefer air conditioning. And I've been in these before where the wind is so strong, the sand goes straight up under the rain cover and just sprinkles you all night. So absolute hell. And at the flip side, I want to keep you guys out of this situation where you load down the biggest and baddest stuff you got and you think you're going to do great, and you're going to end up just getting stuck like crazy no matter what vehicle you have. So don't be that guy on the beach destroying your stuff. Keep it light. And keep in mind, as cool as this stuff looks, you don't need to spend a 1 Bitcoin on an off-road trailer. I know these things are all over social media. Some of these campers are like $60,000, and I'm gonna be honest, they do some really cool stuff. But for $60,000, you won't catch me doing that, frankly. And these things weigh like 3,500 pounds. And when you're on the beach, weights, no matter how awesome your truck is, dragging an anchor behind you is rough. So I wanted to show you guys kind of the evolution of the stuff that we did growing up. 60. These are like $40,000 to $60,000 depending on what you do with them. Some of the higher end specs have over $6,000 worth of battery, and they can run off batteries to run the air conditioners at night. Like, they've got enough, like they have as much wattage in them, or kilowatt hours, as like a Tesla solar wall. Like, imagine a Tesla Model 3 battery pack wedged in these things so they can run air conditioning at night without a generator. Like, that's the level there. And it's cool, but it's out there. So I'm gonna walk you through, because we've gone through this evolution like over 10 years of how to do camping on a beach, and we learned a lot of stuff that I think people discount, and I don't want you guys to make the mistakes of some of the stuff we did. First off, pop-up campers don't work on the beach. We learned this the hard way. During camping on the beach, there's always like a salt mist, and the salt mist eventually penetrates this fabric. So it'll start raining inside your pop-up camper. So these things are awesome. They're lightweight, they're cheap, they're tiny. You can drag them down the beach really, really far, not get stuck, but they suck with the water ingress. And I've heard you can like treat the fabric, but it's a pain in the butt. We never had good success. Plus they flap in the wind, they're loud at night. Not a good thing. We then started moving on to rigid campers, and before lifted off-road teardrops became a thing, we started finding cheaper teardrops and then lifting them, and they're awesome. These things are like under 1,000 pounds. You almost can't feel them behind you. If you guys never seen these things are like 8 feet long. You can lay down them and like kind of sit up in them, but that's it. But you get a protected camper shell. Some of them have air conditioning. We would modify them to put little air conditioners in them, and we had a great times on the beaches. That's before the kids came along. So, what's up, Phil? So I love these to death. I miss fishing before kids because these things were amazing, but we had to get rid of them. And one route we took was going to all aluminum trailers. These are called living lights. You can actually get these. They're about 15, 16 feet long. They have a shower in them. They have an actual real toilet, but they're super expensive and they're all aluminum. That's the only way they get the weight. But these are still like empty, like 2,200 pounds. These are a bit pricey. You could get them used nowadays, pretty cheap, or like maybe 15 grand. But you are not doing this in a stock truck. You have to have lift and tires and stuff like that to get there. But this is my personal rig, and I wanted to share it with you guys because we did a lot of research, and I recently did some talks back with Vital Progressions, and I was like, man, I went back and checked all my research and paper, and I can't find anything that's even better than this. Because we're trying to like think, is there something better I could upgrade, a little more room for my kids? They're getting older, but realistically, we found that there's not. This thing here weighs 1,500 pounds, and is not. It's a slightly off-road version that they make by the company called A-Liner, and then we ended up cutting the fender flares and putting in some bigger off-road tires, and then I was set on the beach. So these things you can get for cheap. If you want to get real fancy, they do make them very, very expensive models. So if you want to get crazy, they do sell like $40,000 like crazy models. Don't do that. Go find yourself a cheap used one. Go do a little bit of a lift. Go to Harbor Freight. Get one of these rear carriage racks that you see people put on like the back of SUVs. Assemble this bad boy, but don't put the hitch on it. And then you can U-bolt it to the front of the frame, and you've got an off-road like carriage rack. So I'm like in like less than like $10,000 on this whole setup, and it's awesome on the beach. And if you're asking me, like, I thought you said pop-ups like weren't good. This is what an A-Liner is. It's a real goofy idea that someone came up with in the 70s. I don't know how the dude came up with this, but it works really well, and there's no fabric in it, so it's pretty interesting. And it takes me like less than 60 seconds to load or to unload. So you break the latches open. It basically makes the power of a pyramid. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Aslan, we have abused the living crud out of them on the beaches, and they've been great. We just U-bolt them to the frames and do nothing else. But anyway, it makes this triangle, and then you pop this up, and then you pop the other side up, and then you have a rigid hard body on the beach. And that's all you do is these little latches. And it'll give you, yeah, there you go. There's the side. It's cramped inside, yes, and it's not ideal. It doesn't have a toilet. Has a sink and like a little stove. That's it. Like, that's all you get. But I'm under 1,500 pounds, and I can run air conditioning on places that no one else can go. So that's my camper alpha of the day. If you guys want to check those out, they're pretty cool. Go check them out. A-Liner makes them, and then another company makes them. I forgot what I think it's Forest River. You just look up A-frame campers is what these are called. But the other thing too is when they pop down, it's a slipstream for your truck, so you can do it pretty cheap. So as far as like miles per gallon. So the other thing you guys noted, I've been talking about a generator. I upgraded a generator. We trade Generac. We talk about Generac. Shout out Dop. I did my research, had my first real outage with a new generator to power the bigger AC that I installed on the camper, and we had a very rough go. I posted this in the Discord. Gonna ask, why is there duct tape and a ratchet strap? The second night we were camping, everything shut off. At 3:30 in the morning, I go outside, and this camper had jumped off the table headfirst into the sand and tried to kill itself. Dreaded. I had to take this thing apart, clean it out, wash it out, and had sand and stuff on it. And the best I can tell is it vibrated enough until this table kind of sunk in the sand one way, and then it slid off after running for like 36 hours. Overall, I really like it, but wife woke up the next morning and was like, why on earth is it ratchet strapped to the table? And I was like, please don't ask. Please don't ask. I was up for an hour rebuilding this thing and getting every ounce of sand and speck out of it that I could with a paintbrush, a screwdriver, and a little a little water mister. And this is another camping hack. Keep these things off the sand. Keep them out of the wind. So I usually put them next to a fender well in my truck, which blocks them from the salt mist, and then we elevate them. And this is the first generator I've had to strap down. So, and then speaking of trucks, if you guys want a really awesome truck, go look up the Gen 2 Toyota Tundras, 2017 to 2013. They're old school style. They're very, very reliable. They absolutely suck fuel, get awful mileage. The oil changes are awful, but they're super reliable and they last a long time. So that's my summary. We can now go into the normal show, but just wanted to share that along. That's why I've been gone for a bit. That's why I'm very tired, still physically recovering, and trying to get back into it because we spent a lot of time and I broke a lot of stuff. I had a pretty good hand injury during the trip. It's good times. But moving on, if you've noticed some goofy things with Bitcoin, we're like 9%, 8% from the all-time high. Numbers going up. And what's getting real odd with the flows and something I never expected, Grayscale's higher fund, the original OG GBTC, is catching bids, which this is not something we expected. We expected it to bleed out, kind of bottom out and stay, but $40 million or $37 million is pretty crazy. And today was $47 million, while their cheaper fund is a zero. You can't make this stuff up. ARK is even coming in with a tenth of $1 billion today. Stuff's all over the place. And in the past, we saw a lot of awesome flows, and it didn't really lead to a lot of amazing things. But kind of the offloading did. But dude, this stuff is not a direct correlation anymore, and it's been getting really interesting. But firing up the charts, this is where I am at with the updated Bitcoin chart. Got our support levels here, got our capitulations. I don't have the reversion bands on because I wanted to show the levels here a little bit better, but you've seen the reversion band charts. And truth be told, this is where we're at. People want to know where we're at? We're at $67,000. That's where we're at. In reality, we've been grinding since March of this year. This has ruined a lot of people. This has made a lot of people a lot of money. It's been wild. We've been chasing creek jumps, which are very, very hard thing to spot. And then this was a capitulation bottom, which is hard for normal people, but like rainbow theory traders, that was an easy win. And now we're working our way back up, higher low, and now we're kind of grinding through support and resistance levels. But the damn thing is it punches through, hits a level, comes back, retests, and then it goes up to the next one. One day, or maybe never, we're eventually going to print a new all-time high. That tends to be what Bitcoin does. Now, when are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? I don't know. But I know this is, per the algorithms, this is where this liquidity and the bears and the bulls are going to fight. I don't know when they're going to fight, but I know where the battleground is going to take place, and it's here. And we ticked it this week. We hit 68.5. Now, if you remember last time we hit 68.5, this baited a lot of people, and then the whale print showed up at the top of the range, and it nuked. Prices rolled over, RSI rolled over, but really the whale prints was the killer. Especially if you go look at, I believe it's Coinbase's chart. This is Binance's. There's more whale prints on the Coinbase chart, so take that for what it's worth. But this was the cluster of whale prints that got us spooked out of the capitulation long, which happened here. Rode it from here to here, got out, and just kind of sidelined and parked the cash. Finding support, sweeping liquidity again at a support level, which is based off that previous pivot there. I know I'm repeating a lot of stuff, but this is where it gets really interesting. We got very, very hard whale print rejections here again at 65K. Really bad. There's 2 there, 3, 4, bam, 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 bam. Normally we get like a cluster of 3 and price pretty much falls out the bottom. I thought we were actually going to go lower, and then it actually swept liquidity twice. Tag, tag, tag. It's a bunch of zigzag. This is pure chop. You zoom in, this is just destroying people. And either way, we've broken free again, and we've gone up to the next level. So, to quote the underrated Josh Olszewicz, numbers going up is bullish, and it's bullish until proven otherwise. Maybe we do this for 5 years. I don't know. It's driving a lot of people crazy. I don't like it. And to be on the short term, I want to get in this and stay in it. Like, if we can't sustain and this keeps rolling over, remember what this thing did. Came up, got into it, then rejected and came all the way back down. That was the yin carry trade, sure, but definitely watching the rejection. Same thing here. Pop, 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 trying to hit liquidity, trying to get through resistance, and then well prints down. Same thing here. Getting up past resistance, whales prints down. We don't see any well prints yet. That's what I'm personally looking for. So when my buddies are shooting me DMs for like, what do I think? I'm going to chill until well prints show up. You can see they keep showing up at highs. We haven't seen one yet. So I like seeing that. That's a bullish look. But you have to realize all damn year, every time we get somewhere in this level, we go back down. We haven't broke through it yet and sustained it and printed like a sustained new all-time high. So since like March of this year, and remember it's middle of October, we haven't punched through it. So odds are we get rejected, but we haven't been really rejected yet. RSI's rolling over, the color's a little rolling over, but I haven't seen any well prints yet. Maybe they're on the Coinbase chart and I need to check that, but that's my general sentiment is surely you could start justifying it's been long enough for this to be reaccumulation and move your way up. This is not going to match any schematic chart yet. Maybe when we get back up here and start pulling above, you'll see some hindsight charts, but I don't recognize anything of it. I can recognize certain pieces inside of it. These look like creeks to me. We played those. We traded those. And then this was a Rainbow Theory textbook capitulation, which is just long capitulation. It's just kind of what we do. So anyway, we're back up. It's recovering. And you know, you want another bullish take on it? The Bears have had their opportunity multiple times to send us to 40K, and they haven't done it. And I've said stuff like that before, and then they've come and taken it. But we've so far, we're moving up. And I'm on my second to last resistance. This is the king of resistance, this second one, in my opinion. Because a lot of people don't realize this is the 2021 all-time high order block. If you zoom way out, we go back to 2021. That's where this is. These pivots here all the way across. That's the original first time we broke 60K, came back down, lights out, went back up, rallied, right? You guys know that story. This pivot here, if you draw it all the way across, that's where we're at. And it has had crazy interactions with the candles ever since. So this entire year, that pivot's been in place. So we've laid additional pivots on top of the 2021 ones with some 2024 data, and it keeps hitting. So, you know, if we can get above that, that's super, super bullish. But then you come to the last order block before we come into an all-time high. So we've got like 4-hour resistance. We've got 4-hour plus 2021. And then we got 2024. So that's where we're at. That's what we got to keep all of our eyes on. Just don't liquidate here. Keep in check. And if you just want to stack cash until we like legit close a weekly above here, sure, you can be chill. It sucks sitting in cash while watching crypto Twitter, but you eventually get like numb to it and you can do it. And if you want to go sit in Coinbase and sit in stables, you can get like 5% APR while you just chill in stables. That's always good. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ethereum's going to flip Bitcoin. We can go from there. But moving on, liquidity. If you want to look at liquidity, we have the Rainbow Trends liquidation engine on here on the H4 contract for Bitcoin perpetuals. And you can see where they have knocked out liquidity over and over again. And right now, there's no liquidity on the higher time frames being picked up by the engine, and we're working our way up. So let's hope to God we're going up and chasing this liquidity and not the liquidity that's at like 52K. That's what I want to avoid. For obvious reasons, we don't want number to go down, but if we go down, I don't have an easy liquidation target for liquidity here. So normally we show up the trading light stuff too. I don't have enough time tonight, and frankly, this liquidation engine paints where the stuff really is. So shout out to the brain cells I lost coding that one, because that one mentally hurt bad. But anyway, this is how we walk our way up, and even if you go look at the order books, it's just a mess of liquidation limit sells here. We got it. It's going to be hard. Long story short, if you had some really nice entries here, you're getting it to the top of the range where we typically don't make it all the way through. And then eventually we do make it our way through. But in general, when you come up to this level, don't give this stuff back if it retraces. Because we very well may come down for like another leg, and we just do this till the end of the damn year. And I don't know. But keep in mind, got an election coming. We've got a new year coming. Got new regulations coming. We got a lot of different stuff. We got people fighting all over the world again. I say again, it never ends, but you get the point. Moving on. Mayor multiple time. So, had some conversations in a group chat. Graciously hosted by Carpe Noctem. If you guys don't know, his Twitter handle is 333K by July 2025. And if you look at my timeline stuff, that's the 330K target. That's where the Bulls win. That's where the Bears win. Mayor multiple wise, I got into it. We were bringing this up last night. Because we've gone sideways for so long, we're now in the bottom ranges of the Mayor multiple. We're not in like the bet the mortgage on it levels where we find like market macro bottoms, but like we definitely aren't pegged out on the high end. In the general, in the past, you've seen me cover the Mayor multiple a bunch. Love this tool. It's just hard to visualize, so that's why we turned it into this tool so you could visualize it. You get into these red bands of the standard deviations, and you tend to print tops. That's the 13.5 parabolic top. That's the legendary 20K straight up target from 2017. And these are red lines are the halvenings, and then these are the top windows, kind of where I projected. That's the peaks in the past have happened, just counting days from the halvenings, using that as a landmarker. If you use all that data all the way going back, that's my estimate of where we're at. So we're looking at like a potential all-time high of Bitcoin. If the rhyme to the reason, the stuff stays the same, we're looking at roughly a window from like April to November of 2025, as well as like maybe June to November of 25, just kind of how you look at it. Because if you go back and look at some of the stuff that's got like two peaks, you got to do a little bit of window. But we've got confluence here. If these numbers keep going up, these will work their way up, right? And then we get into that sweet little spot where Josh is angry. But in reality, if we hit 333K, he will smile. So keep that in mind. If you guys don't know who he is, Carpe Noctem, go look him up. He's the goat of like streaming. And taught me a lot inadvertently because I just started listening to Crypto and Whales back in like 2017 and listening to his stuff over and over and over until I could understand it. And I was like, this white dude's talking in like Japanese. And then I'm like, no, it's actually Ichimoku. Okay, I understand cloud stuff kind of. Let me start trying to code it. Long story, but shout out Josh. He's in my top 5. Just don't tell him that. I wouldn't say it to his face. Moving on to Ethereum. Pepe Sinca. What's his last name? Olszewicz? Just look up Carpe Noctem because you can't spell it. It's Polish as F, and not only is it hard to spell, it's hard to type. Let me pull it up. I have to cross check it all the time. So this guy, Josh, Olszewicz. When you get all of the kids in preschool like having to spell their names, like that had to be a really rough time for him. But anyway, moving on. If you guys can't tell, I'm a big fan. Anyway, Ethereum, the coin that everyone wants to love. We printed an H4 runner bot top today, and I'm not so happy about that because I want this to roll. But if you guys haven't really noticed, the H4 runner bot tops have been kind of peaks. So I want this to reject it, because if we can reject that top signal, we're probably going to go for that 28 order block, which is just littered with pivots. So, yeah, Fletch. What's up, Fletch, dude? I'm telling you, for the longest time, like Google did not know what the hell I was typing. And then it finally, like, I think this year or last year, it started, like, if you could butcher his name and it would start, like, oh, you're talking about Carpe Noctem. Okay. But anyway, Ethereum, not looking great for a lot of reasons, but it's still 2,600. BlackRock, something. make up some stuff. Vitalik could quit dumping on us and saying dumb things. Maybe we'll do good. But he's got a girlfriend, so maybe that's bullish. Oh, I don't know. I personally longed this liquidity sweep again when it started moving back up at the wall prints. I think I hopped in around like 25, but I may just bail on this because I don't want to lose the gains that I have on that one because it's a scalp position. Long term, I have bags of it that just get proof of stake. But anyway, moving on. Let me see where we're at. We're at 8:30. Okay. So another thing, let's check on Solana. Because everyone loves Solana and likes talking about it. I'm not the biggest fan, you know me, but I'm very, very anti anything remotely related to FTX. And FTX was really involved. Not involved, but they were a big investor in this. But moving back, sorry, I had to put the reversion bands back on. You guys know capitulation paints. We've covered that a million times. Definitely go check that stuff out. It's a real key thing of like what made Rainbow Theory start off. I don't want to bore you guys doing the same lesson, but we're grinding sideways. And frankly, put an alert above 211, 212. Pay attention then. Until then, it's going to be major, major grinding. You see this and it looks amazing, right? And it is. This was a ridiculous run, but longing up here is the scary part, and right now it's chopping. If this is reaccumulation, we're good, but if it's not, it's bad. And not to sound controversial with a high IQ take, but if the numbers go down, it's not good. But the thing I want you to guys kind of like to realize, this is a huge run, and you don't think this is that big of a pullback. You're looking at negative 48% swings is what this volume is, or not the volume, but the potential here. So a lot of people put some serious money in these higher ranges, and they've been dealing with like 10 to 40% pullbacks, and it's brutal. It's not the time to do that. We want it to go hard and stupid again, and it's real easy to see when it's hard and stupid. It breaks out, starts printing pinks. We're not doing that right now. So set your alerts. We can pay attention to this when it's like over 220. Frankly, just wait till like Anson's all over your timeline again. When he's winning, you'll know it's time. So anyway, no, I don't really follow BNB much anymore. It got banned from so many places, but I do want to say Papa's home. CC's back from jail. And I just want to say is like, should we have been accumulating BNB while he was in jail? I think the answer is probably yeah. But BNB's always moved really weird to me. It doesn't move like the other organic flows. And that's kind of a hard way to say it, but it's the way these lines and these colors wiggle as well. If you put like automated strategies on them, there are some crypto coins that stand out that act different than the others. Litecoin, Zcash, Ethereum, Bitcoin, they all kind of have this organic movement between the whales fighting each other, and there's a big pool of whales. When you start talking about like BNB, it acts very different and does things that are not normal, implying it's got a big, more of a singular whale in control of it, which really is Binance. The same thing applies to Ripple. Ripple really has the central authority bank of like Ripple in control of that thing, and they dump on it all the time. The other one is like Bcash, which Ver was really in control of for a very long time, but that's kind of changed now. Bcash was a little bit of a stretch because it did weird things, but it wasn't like Binance or BNB and Ripple. So anyway, FTT, Aslan, FTT, yeah, FTT acted really weird too, like BNB, but I forget about FTT. But we'll look at Doge in a second. Hold on, let's see FTT, yeah. Just an amazing chart here. And we're still trying to get that one. Still want to get that one. He's not in jail yet. Now, if you notice some of the paperwork that's been coming out, there's an unnamed whistleblower. They are fighting like hell to protect his identity, his or her identity, and it's just like, well, who else involved with the Alameda gang is walking freely, and that's one of the last ones, so maybe it's him. I don't know. It's weird, is most of the people that made a deal with the lawyers or the court system, they announced they had immunity. They never announced he had an immunity. They announced she didn't, or they said she didn't, or they didn't say she did. She got jailed. He's the fall guy, and Ryan deserves jail as well. It's a long story. We called this stuff out a long time ago. We were used to watch the whales chase inside FTX exchange, and the numbers printed differently and weird, and it really came out as like not organically. I would have automated trading bots that worked on Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, and then I would have them trade the same pairs on FTX, and I would start losing, which made no sense. And then I started saying, okay, I'll take the bot and I'll tell it to trade on FTX using Binance data. Bot would still lose. It would win on Coinbase and Binance, but it would lose on FTT. So I started reaching out to some of my other quant friends, and I was like, hey, have you seen this before where it acts like you're getting hunted by the people behind the scenes? And they're like, oh, yep. Are you talking FTX? And I was like, yep. I was like, okay, the playground's not real. Alameda's hunting us. Let's get out. And long story short, we got out of the way of that. So anyway, what's up, Mally? So FTT, you wanted to see Doge. If Elon gets to be, by the way, it's TradingView. Please let me be able to toggle that. Sometimes I will pull this up at work, and I don't need a dog dancing on the screen. Yeah, Doge is actually pumping really, really crazy. That's awesome. I haven't paid attention. I don't like the meme coins except kind of like SHIB. I like trading SHIB, and I'm more of a cat guy now. Shout out Aslan. Shout out Dop. We're doing PopCat now. That's where it's at. Yeah, Doge is really hard. It can be so volatile. And it's just like when it's hot, it's hot. When it's not, it's dead. So we'll see. Yeah, Nexus, that's because you have the FBI following you on your tap line. Maybe it's like a part of a premium plan. Maybe you don't get it on the cheaper tiers. It used to do it on Tesla when Elon would show up here smoking a joint, which I was livid about. I was like, please don't. Please let me look at Tesla charts in a public setting and not be embarrassed. But anyway, let me go back. You wanted to see Mally's here. We got to look at Solef, which I don't really like alternative pairs, but a lot of people do, and that's actually pretty damn crazy on the pivots there. That's super consistent, dude. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, like there's when pivots cluster, that's what you would see like a trader main order block. When I say that, that's something I can't visually see with my eyes. I don't have trader main eyes, so I had to code like the best version I could. And that's what this is. So there's like those. But that's interesting. It keeps rejecting. But that's a tight coil. That's going to give one way or the other, but you can see the well prints keep rejecting it. So I don't know. We shall see. Do you think MicroStrategies is ready to pop off of a retest? You guys are asking a lot of questions today, and it's very amazing and very good because you guys are asking hard questions, and it's stuff I've been thinking about, but I wasn't planning on streaming. But you know what? Since you're here and we're back, let's do it. MicroStrategies has a very, very interesting chart. And why do I think it's interesting? This is highly correlated to Bitcoin for very, very obvious reasons. It has a very, very clear support and resistance level. And as much as people hate Michael Saylor, the basis of his strategy is sound, and you cannot liquidate him, short of hacking Coinbase. It's a long, long discussion, and I don't want to go into it for an hour, but the way he buys Bitcoin with algorithms, you can't really mess with him. He gets awful DCAs in because he only trades at the range high, but he does well over time. With that being said, you can kind of see a channel walk here, which I don't like to see because when these things break, they retrace hard. And if MicroStrategy is retracing lower, Bitcoin's not breaking out and up, in my opinion. But the big thing here, why I think this is so interesting, I normally assume MicroStrategy's stock is correlated to Coinbase stock. And if you've noticed, MicroStrategies is going ham right now. Coin is not. Coin is popping, but Coin is not above the top order block. It's not even above the green band. MicroStrategies is above the top order block, and it's above the green band. It's doing way hotter. So we got to see. Phil, that's awesome. Yeah, I literally couldn't see order blocks like he does, and I really liked it. I really liked and respected his trading style. So I had to like make an algorithm so I could do it. It took a while, but it worked. Anyway, MicroStrategies is at a make it or break it, and when it breaks hard. You can see the last time it did, and it was really going and just blew the bands out. For the most part, it typically stays inside the red and the green bands, these reversion bands. But when it wants to roll, it rolls. Same thing with Coinbase. Coinbase, when it breaks through and it runs hard. And you've seen like some of these trades over the past few years, these channel walks went absolutely mental. And you've seen Dime post a lot about it, and you've seen us talk about it, Malifestro and a few others in the Discord. That was the capitulation wick from the yen carry trade here. And we traded that. And I got out right around here because I didn't want to be part of a major capitulation event if it started to go. But then I re-entered around here. I think, long story short, this bled out. And then it bled out again. And if you look at the RSI prints, like in general, if you go back in like Coinbase history, Rainbow Theory 101, white candles, pink RSI, color rotations inside a band, number normally go back up. I know that sounds really simple, but there's just a lot of back testing and a lot of math behind it. But it did do like a 32% move back from that Pico bottom. And it's not like you're going to get that Pico bottom. Frankly, you rarely ever see Coinbase print RSIs that hot. And even then, you only had like a half a day to catch it. But we did long, or I say we did. Not that this is financial advice, but I may or may not have entries around like 160, 161. I grabbed it off that pivot, and I think right now I'm up 25%. So I got the scalp, and then I got into position for a long. In general, when we have sweeps like this, and then you see a retest of support, not to quote a Mali sweep, but you get support, drive below the support, and then you get a retest, send it, right? We do it on different time frames, but in general, when you see stuff, liquidity hit, and then it finally starts holding, I get bullish, and so far it's popped. And I almost sold today. We almost hit the other side of the reversion band. That would have made me exit, but I think this one is... I don't want to sell here if it just starts to truck. And considering Bitcoin is like getting close to the top of the range, if Bitcoin tries to break through and go ham, maybe I can get it. Maybe. But if not, I'm just going to move my stops up. I got in slow and I timed it right, so now I feel safe. So anyway, yeah, retest of the sweep. As is tradition, Mally. That's what people get for not listening in the Discord. All I'm going to say. By the way, there's no paywalls in the Discord. Come hang out. Even if you're not a rainbow trader, we don't discriminate. Nexus is in there, so that tells you everything. Speaking of Nexus, going over to Zcash. We love Nexus, if you guys don't know, but he's definitely a character. So, I have no friggin' idea why Zcash is doing this. This was the only trade I did on the beach, and it was just because we were driving on the beach. I was texting Crypto ISO, and I was like, yeah, he's like... trying to see like where I was at with the market, and I was like, don't listen to me right now, I'm long Zcash. He's like, what, why are you long Zcash? And I was like, the paint looked good, I saw it doing support, and in the middle of the drive one night I saw this, and I was like, I don't know why Zcash is pumping. There's probably not a technological breakthrough, there's no way it's getting an ETF, and in general, when I see whale prints full sending pinks into a reversion band, I take profit. So I got out. I think I made, gosh, I don't remember the exact entry. It was not an entry down here. It was somewhere like around here. I think I got in on this range on like that pivot. So I think it was $28 and I sold it $38, somewhere around there, 27 to 37, something like that. It was like a $10 increment. So it was a nice trade on spot, trading Zcash. So as much as Josh Olszewicz does not like my Zcash My Nexus does. And it typically, if it's in a real mood to start bouncing around, it bounces around. And it does some really dumb stuff. It'll tag these bands and go to the other side, and it'll be like a 40-50% move, and then it'll do it again. But it's when you're grinding in a downtrend, you got to be careful because sometimes it doesn't pop. But you've got to get into a position, then stop loss protected. So anyway, we can go back to Bitcoin. Nexus is talking. There it goes, 67.9. I honestly, we haven't seen any well prints, like any of these red. When I say well prints, it's these red triangles. Go check out the Git book. It explains exactly what the hell these triangles are without giving away the secret sauce. But yeah, come on, Asia. Don't leave us hanging like right here going into a weekend with the ETFs offline. I don't want to see that. But anyway, just in general, look for these to start printing if we start getting through, and then it's going to be really, really interesting. I say really interesting. It's going to be like scary because I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with another month of crypto Twitter crying about this because this is going to take us to Christmas or at least Thanksgiving, and I just don't want to deal with that. And this is not, I don't think I'm on my right chart. Hold on. Maybe on the wrong layout. Yeah, this is not the layout I was showing earlier. I'm sorry. There it is. No, that's the old one. I'm in the wrong layout. Rainbow. That's weird. They've changed TradingView. This is different than what I was used to. Is this it? I really wish they hadn't done that. It's gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna have to go. No, that's not it. You guys saw it at the beginning of the show. That's what I was referring to. I've got so many of these things marked up, but I have a clean one that I keep running for the thing, and then the others I do annotations for write-ups because I'm doing a lot of documentation right now. But 4282 somewhere on this chart there's stuff going. But if everything's pumping, what else? Math, this keeps coming up every day as a pumper. Math, I don't know what math is, but maybe it's a meme. Math is hard. I don't know. Looks like old school Zcash. Doge is pumping 5% tonight. Yes. Is SHIB woken up? I want some SHIB. I want some SHIB love. SHIB does the easier runs. SHIB does these type of runs. This is a 380% parabolic move. Whenever SHIB starts just printing well prints like this, buckle the F up. But until then, it's either grinding or bleeding. So we'll see. Litecoin refuses to make lower lows. That was another thing. I didn't mention it in the stream, but Litecoin being bullish is scary to me. Bad things have happened when Litecoin and EOS start pumping as well as Zcash, but we start talking like the four horsemen. Wrong type. 1SDT. Yeah, I think EOS is cold. That's good. Let's check Ripple. So we're talking horsemen. God, this coin is just garbage. You're not getting $500 per XRP for a lot of reasons. Sorry to be the bad guy, but the guy's telling you that with their pay groups. Not a good look. Yeah, I don't know. I want to see it go. Wait, is that it? That's my levels. This is the chart. Yeah. I don't know why it did that. Yeah. Like legit. Like here's your little measurement tool. An all-time high print is 8.7% away. Like we're pretty close. So we'll see. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to point out. I'm also really, really chill with waiting 18 days to really make some major decisions. This is going to be volatility no matter what. And I saw someone posting up, like, what if the stats are way overcooked and like Kamala has a way better chance, and then she comes in winning as an underdog? Imagine what that would do to the stock market. And I was like, that's an interesting take, because S&P is way the F up. And then the market is definitely not pricing that in, because the stats are completely dropping off the chart for her. So regardless of what you're thinking about, who's going to win, who should win, that's a whole different thing. But you can definitely tell how it affects markets, and the polling right now is going crazy. And then you can see me moving into my Coinbase chart, which I had prepared, but we had already inadvertently knocked it out because you guys were asking about MicroStrategies, which makes sense. We love you guys. So anyway, you see the Trump S coin? Dude, there's so many. Was it Restore the Public? There's the... That's RTF. Is it? I don't even know. Is it? That was the one that rugged, and then there's the Tremp one, and then there's the Bowden one. I mean, if you want volatility, that's volatility. Let's check up on Bowden, because I may or may not know somebody who had like 250,000 of this. Not to name names. Maybe it's alive. I don't know. Kraken like set it up for the debate, and then then Biden dropped out. So SP 6900. Is anybody trading it, or is it like, I can't even pull it up on here? Or what's the ticker? Well, apparently there's an SP 69. I need to check that out. Doesn't work. SP Bazinga. What's the ticker? Because I can't pull it up on here. Normally I can type in WETH or something and it'll pull up the goofy stuff, but anyway. It's definitely not on Coinbase, I can tell you that. SPX 69. Was that it? SPX USDT CoinX? We don't have enough data to calculate it. There we go. We can go back to lower time frames and crunch it maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a meme coin guy except for Popcat, and I only longed Popcat because there was confluence independently between Aslan and Doppel, and that's two different OGs recognizing the cat. And then Che was talking about it, and I like Che a lot. Damn it, I just did popcorn. Popcat SDT. Yeah, Popcat like is flirting with an all-time high again, which is just insane. Turn liquidation levels on. This thing's nuts. Like, we bought it down like here, like we're well past a 10x. And I didn't throw the house at it. I just threw some change at it, but it's turned into a nice used Toyota. So, Uniswap chart. Cheese, CHC. We haven't looked at that. I'll take a few more. Then I gotta hop off on this, and then we're gonna go back to the Discord and hang out in the round table, where we open up the mics and we can chart anything you want, tutorials about whatever you want, or if you guys want to play Rocket League, we can do that as well. But we'll turn the stream off and then go hang out with the guys who want to hang out in the Discord. And if you guys don't know the Discord link, I believe it's in my profile, but it's always up here at the top of rainbow-trends.com right there. Anyway, there we go. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'll talk to you guys later. Definitely go check us out at rainbow-trends.com. And I'll see you guys. What's up, Sean? Glad to see you here as well. But talk to you guys later. Or I'll talk to you guys in like 2 minutes in the Discord. See ya.